Look, I understand. You want to know, is Magyar any good? Should you play them? What's the history here? What's the lore, you know? What are the details? Also, this one looks way cooler than me. I'm just rocking out with the default colors. Maybe I should have, you know, locked in the CCs or something. Look, I got you. Don't worry. I understand. You don't want to read? Nobody wants to read, okay? We only read in-game. We don't read out-of-game. But look. Let's talk about the lore, okay? I read the lore left and right. I've memorized it like the back of my hand. I haven't even played yet before, by the way. This is my first ever game of Magyar. But you know I'm a lore master, so let's talk about that, okay? Actually, before we get into the lore, actually, let's talk about the signatures, because Magyar's got some beastly okay, it counts as a kill. Magyar has some beastly signatures, okay? They are kind of brutal. One could say. Pretty strong. You got this one where you turn into like a little spider crawling through the map. But really there's a couple that I think take the cake. I think the greatsword Ensig, the greatsword Downsig, and the hammer Downsig are really the three that you should be watching out for. This one is just super speed, super knockout power. Now the thing about Megonymus Rex here, okay, I read the lore so you don't have to. Memorized it like the palm of my hand, back of my hand, back of my palm. We're in good hands here. You're in good hands. As is Magyar, apparently, because Magyar was born without hands. They are actually born as a suit of armor, believe it or not. Not everyone is born as armor, but Magyar was, and sad. So he was born without hands. He was born as a suit of armor. As you know, most suits of armor, they don't have hands. It's just gloves. Because if the armor, you know, if the suit of armor, if it was metal hands, it would be hard to grab your sword. So they don't have hands. They just have leather gloves. He was born without leather gloves, given that he was a suit of armor. Anyway, point being that he was not ambidextrous. As many people thought when they saw the release trailer, the first thing that came to your mind was probably, wow, this legend seems like they're probably ambidextrous. But no, that was deconfirmed by the developers in the lore, so, you know, better check up on your sources. Read the lore so you make sure you don't miss out on information like that, critical information. But anyway, so, Magyar? What is the character's name? Hold on. Magyar! Magyar was released, and they thought that, oh, God, I don't know. Just, okay. So yeah, you know, they were born, and then when they went to school, everyone made fun of them, because also not only were they born without hands, they were born without a face. As you can see, these eyes here, these eyes aren't Magyar, these eyes are this ghoulish spirits that inhabited Magyar's head. And so, the spirits, they're big ghouls, and they said, you know, this is my body, I'm gonna become a ghoul. And Magyar said, no, stop it, don't do it. It was in math class, actually, that this happened. I'm surprised that Magyar even knows what math is, because I can only do math by counting on my fingers, as previously established. Doesn't even have fingers, but now can crawl on the floor like a spider. Ghouls inhabited the, you know, little boy here. Sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt myself there. I got a little bit distracted from the storytelling. Anyway, Magmar, he was like, you know what? I gotta do something about these ghouls. They're infesting my body in math class. What can I do? So he's like, okay, you know what? Instead of just trying to be enemies, you know, in every movie, every horror movie, every story, they always treat the evil spirits as if they're evil. But what if they're just trying to make friends? You know, what if they're just trying to have a good old time, make some buddies, say, hey, I just wanna, you know, I wanna be a parasite, infest your soul, and make some friends. You know, the only way that they can exist is by being a parasite. They're not trying to be mean. They're not trying to be evil. It's just that's the only way they know how to say hi. And so, you know, oh, okay, never mind. Okay, so to continue the tale, the lore, yeah, so Momfar here, he's the first person that the ghouls have ever inhabited, and he's actually helped them out. He's been like, you know what, yeah, you guys are great. Now I'm no longer alone. I have some friends to spend some time with, and they're like, yes, exactly, that's all we ever wanted. And they're like, you know what, because you're the first to ever be so kind to us, we will grant you one wish. And he goes, one wish, really? Well, there's one thing that I've always wanted, and it's hands. I've never had hands. I've looked around, everyone around me has always had hands, but me, never. And they're like, you know what, Magnemite, we can do that for you. So, they do it. They grant him not only hands, but armored hands. This is not some Edward Scissorhands, you know, knockoff. He's got some like knives, he got forks on his hands. No, this is real hands. Oh, okay. So Mangor gets his hands, he's all happy, he's all, you know, happy-like, but the problem, he still has an issue, right? He's still just a little kid stuck in math class, he's in his school, he's kind of bored. And the goblins, the spirits, the ghouls, they go, hey, we can fix that. Would you like to go on a quest? And he's like, quest? That sounds absolutely amazing. And so he goes on a quest. He leaves math class, he takes out his textbook, and he throws it on the floor, and the whole class goes, oh, they gasp, because, wait, he has hands. They all get up, they all start clapping, they start cheering for him, his whole class is happy, his teacher goes, you know what? You can leave now. You can, in fact, we never even wanted you here. And okay, then he starts to cry a little bit. That was kind of rude for a teacher to say. I feel like that was very unprofessional. The schools in Ghoul Land are not known for being very professional, you see, so that's a bit of an issue. It's kind of a funding issue more than anything, but they definitely, you know, gotta work that one out. They do work that one out in like 20 years, but it's already too late. The damage has been done to Moongar here, so it's okay. Anyway, point is, he leaves school, everyone's happy, except for the teacher, apparently. Principal, although, is ecstatic. So he leaves school, and he goes over to the lands of time. Okay, so he goes to lands of time, and in the lands of time, he's like, okay, what are we supposed to do here? And the ghouls go, we need to steal the secret staff of Jabulus. And so they steal the staff. It was actually a very easy job. Turns out when you're a suit of armor, nobody can actually really hurt you. Even if he gets damaged, it's actually not a big deal at all. By the way, there I held down so that I would go down there. That was a little bit of a technical ability, some technical prowess. Turns out, to nobody's surprise, that Lord Farquaad here is just an amazing fighter. He never had the opportunity to show off his talents, his skills, his expertise. Of course, because he didn't have hands. Now though, not only does he have hands, not only is he ambidextrous, but he's quadridextrous. You see like that? He can go turn into a spider. That's his signature move. He becomes known as the Spider King of Jabulus. Okay, so he starts his reign. He starts his reign of terror. But not even terror. He's kind of a kind-hearted soul. It's just, you know, when you're that good, your opponents start to fear you. When you're that powerful, when you're that strong and unbeatable, unbreakable. But this story does not have a happy ending. Of course, to get into Brawlhalla, unless you're like a super, you know, super Ben and Jerry's Finn and Jake type of guy, you kind of have to die. So what happened? Okay, what happened to Mubulus here? Well, it's not a story that I will tell lightly, but it's one I will tell nonetheless. Look at how good that SIG is, by the way. It is kind of crazy good. I will tell it nonetheless. So you see, there was but one weakness. Rust. Yes, it is true. You cannot kill a suit of armor, but what can you do? You can damage it. I mean, I'm being damaged right now. I'm not really being killed because I have 9 defense. I also have 4 speed, so it's kind of a struggle to get back to the stage here, but damaged nonetheless I am. So he starts to rust. He starts to get water poured on him, and he goes, no, stop, please, my one weakness. All I ever wanted was to be a kind-hearted soul. Why are you doing this to me? Guess who it was? Guess who it was? That's right. You guessed correctly. It was Volkov. Volkov comes in. Hey, everyone was predicting that Volkov would be the enemy of Mungar here, but yeah, no, it is correct. So, it happens. Little man bun. He gets rusted. Volkov figures out the weakness, and he gets sent to Brawlhalla. Of course, that's not where the story ends, though. Life in Valhalla, life after death, it's full. There's lots to do. Scarlet, I think, is like in a band or something. I mean, I don't actually know. Maybe Olgrim's in it too. They have like guitars and stuff and skins, so I'm just assuming. Anyway, point is that everyone kind of has their job. You know, they have their friends. They do their own thing. So what does Magyar do? Well, they are on grand display in the throne room of Odin. They are the prized possession of armor. You know those people like in those parks, and they gotta like stand like extremely still as like statues? It's like that, you know, for any visitor to Valhalla, you know, coming from the Jotun sphere, they want to know that they have cool stuff. And so Magyar here is proof of that. They gotta stand very still. No, they're pretty good at standing still. Suits of armor tend to be good at that, but there's one thing that holds them back, and it's the ghouls. And so the ghouls, sometimes, you know, they want to have fun. They want to have a picnic. And so who are Magyar's friends when, you know, they get their day off? They want to have their nice old picnic. Well, who else but Volkov? See, Magyar is a very forgiving being, okay? They're a forgiving, big-hearted soul. I mean, they don't really have a heart, but they don't also have a soul, but, you know. So yeah, Magyar befriended Volkov. It was, you know, It took a little bit for Volkov to see the error of his ways, but truly, I mean, if you think about it, when the ghouls took over, Magyar was still but a kid. He has a kind of childlike sensibility and innocence, a whimsicality, if you will. See, look how forgiving he is. He is a kind soul, a kind heart, and, of course, he's also a member of the Valhallan Circus, the Brawlhalla Circus, because he is the Spider-Man. If you remember, yep, all the way back, it all comes around. See, these lore writers at BMG, they really know how to weave a story together. He is the Spider. They even call him the Spider-Man. Now, I feel like there's some problems there with you know, copyright, but anyway, that's the story of Mungar, story of the Booger King. There's the lore. I hope, you know, now you don't have to read it for yourself. I hope it was insightful. You know, really shoutouts to BMG. I feel like they really outdid themselves this time with this lore here. See, even my dog likes it.